My ex-best friend spread rumors that I was a deadbeat dad. The paternity test results at his party proved otherwise. Last summer changed everything about how I viewed friendship and loyalty. The person I had considered my closest friend for over 15 years decided to destroy my reputation in the most cruel way possible, spreading lies about me being a deadbeat father to a child I had never even known existed. The whole mess started when I began dating someone new after my divorce was finalized. My ex-wife and I had split amicably enough, no kids involved, just two people who had grown apart over the years. I was finally ready to move on and had met someone special through mutual friends. She was kind, funny, and we had an instant connection that felt natural and comfortable. My best friend seemed supportive at first, asking about my new relationship and appearing genuinely happy that I was getting back out there. We had been through everything together since college, from career changes to family deaths to my divorce. I trusted him completely and shared details about my life that I wouldn't tell anyone else. The first sign that something was wrong came when I started noticing strange looks from people in our social circle. Friends would give me odd glances at gatherings. Conversations would stop when I walked into a room, and people seemed to be avoiding me without explanation. I chalked it up to post-divorce awkwardness and figured people just didn't know how to act around me anymore. Then my new girlfriend started asking questions about things she had heard from her friends. Apparently, rumors were circulating that I had a child from a previous relationship that I was refusing to support. The stories were specific and detailed, claiming that I had abandoned a woman who was pregnant with my child and had been dodging my responsibilities for years. I was completely baffled by these accusations. I had never gotten anyone pregnant, had never been in a situation where a child could have resulted from any of my relationships. The timing didn't make sense, the details were completely fabricated, and I couldn't understand where these stories were coming from. My girlfriend was understanding but concerned. She knew me well enough to doubt the rumors, but the stories were so widespread and detailed that she couldn't help but wonder if there was some truth to them. I assured her that the accusations were completely false and promised to get to the bottom of where they were coming from. The investigation didn't take long. Within a few days, I discovered that my best friend was the source of all the rumors. He had been telling people that I had confided in him about having a child that I was refusing to acknowledge or support. He claimed that I had sworn him to secrecy, but that he felt morally obligated to let people know what kind of person I really was. I was devastated. This was someone I had trusted with my deepest secrets, someone who had been at my wedding, someone who had helped me through my divorce. The betrayal was so complete and unexpected that I couldn't process it emotionally. I kept thinking there had to be some misunderstanding or explanation that would make sense of his actions. When I confronted him about the rumors, he didn't deny spreading them, but claimed that he was just looking out for everyone else. He said that he had always suspected I was hiding something and that my secretive nature around relationships proved that I was capable of abandoning a child. The conversation was surreal and painful, like talking to a stranger who looked like my best friend. The worst part was that he seemed to believe his own lies. He had convinced himself that the rumors were true and that he was performing some kind of public service by exposing my supposed moral failings. No amount of rational discussion could penetrate his delusion, and he became increasingly hostile when I tried to defend myself. The rumors continued to spread despite my attempts to address them directly with our mutual friends. Some people believed me when I denied the accusations, but others seemed to think that where there was smoke, there must be fire. The situation was destroying my social life and putting strain on my new relationship. I considered hiring a lawyer to pursue defamation charges, but the legal process would be expensive and time-consuming. I also wasn't sure how to prove that I had never fathered a child, since proving a negative is always difficult. The whole situation felt hopeless and overwhelming. Then something unexpected happened that changed everything. I received a call from a woman I had dated briefly about 8 years earlier. She had heard about the rumors through mutual acquaintances and wanted to let me know that she had recently discovered that her son might not be fathered by the man she had been with at the time. The timing was confusing at first, but as we talked, I realized that our brief relationship had overlapped with the beginning of her pregnancy. She had assumed that her long-term boyfriend was the father and had never considered any other possibility. However, recent events in her life had made her question the paternity of her son. She explained that her relationship with her boyfriend had been rocky during the time she got pregnant, and they had broken up briefly during the period when we were dating. She had reconciled with him when she discovered the pregnancy and had never told him about our brief relationship. They had married and raised the child together, but their marriage had recently ended in divorce. During the divorce proceedings, her ex-husband had demanded a paternity test, claiming that he had always suspected the child wasn't his. The test had confirmed his suspicions, proving that he was not the biological father. This revelation had sent her searching through her memories of that time period, trying to figure out who the real father might be. The conversation was awkward and emotional for both of us. She was dealing with the aftermath of a divorce and the shocking discovery that her ex-husband wasn't her child's father. I was struggling with the possibility that I might actually be a father without knowing it, which would make my best friend's accusations accidentally true, even though he had made them up. We agreed to do a paternity test to determine if I was the father. The waiting period was excruciating, filled with anxiety about what the results might mean for my life. If I was the father, I would have to completely restructure my understanding of my own history and take on responsibilities that I had never anticipated. The test results came back positive. I was indeed the father of an 8-year-old boy I had never met. The irony was overwhelming. My best friend had spread false rumors about me being a deadbeat dad, and it turned out that I actually was a father who had been absent from his child's life, albeit unknowingly. The emotions were complex and contradictory. I felt guilty for not being there for my son, even though I had no way of knowing he existed. I was angry at the situation, at my ex-friend for his lies, and at the bizarre coincidence that had made his false accusations accidentally true. I was also excited and terrified about the prospect of becoming a father to a child I had never met. The mother was understanding about the situation and agreed to let me meet my son gradually. She explained that she had told him that his father was someone else, so introducing me would require careful handling and probably some help from a counselor. The boy was dealing with his own confusion about his identity and didn't need additional trauma from a poorly managed introduction. Meanwhile, the rumors about me being a deadbeat dad continued to circulate, and my former best friend continued to spread them with increasing intensity. He seemed to take pleasure in my social isolation and appeared to be enjoying the drama he had created. The situation was becoming increasingly toxic and was affecting every aspect of my life. I decided to confront the rumors head-on by planning a dramatic revelation of the truth. My former friend was having a birthday party at his house, and most of our mutual friends would be there. I obtained a copy of the paternity test results and planned to present them publicly to prove that while I was indeed a father, I had been unaware of my son's existence and was now taking steps to be involved in his life. The party was awkward from the moment I arrived. Many people seemed surprised to see me, and I could sense the tension in the room. My former friend was clearly unhappy about my presence, but couldn't ask me to leave without causing a scene in front of his other guests. I waited until most of the guests had arrived and then asked for everyone's attention. I explained that I had been the subject of rumors about being a deadbeat father and that I wanted to address these accusations directly. I then presented the paternity test results and explained the circumstances that had led to their discovery. The room was silent as I explained that I had indeed fathered a child, but had been unaware of his existence until recently. I described how I had learned about my son and the steps I was taking to become involved in his life. I also explained that I had been paying child support since discovering the truth and was working with the mother to establish a relationship with my son. The reaction was mixed, but generally supportive. Most people seemed to understand that the situation was complex and that I had acted responsibly once I learned the truth. Several friends approached me afterward to express their support and to apologize for believing the rumors. My former best friend, however, was not satisfied with this explanation. He seemed frustrated that his attempts to destroy my reputation had backfired and that I had managed to turn the situation into a demonstration of my integrity. He began making new accusations, claiming that I had known about the child all along and had only acknowledged him when I was caught. The party ended with a confrontation between us that was uncomfortable for everyone present. He accused me of being a liar and a manipulator, while I tried to remain calm and factual about the situation. Several mutual friends intervened to prevent the argument from escalating further. In the weeks following the party, the dynamic in our social circle shifted dramatically. Most people now understood the truth about my situation and were supportive of my efforts to be a good father to my son. My former friend, however, continued to spread lies and conspiracy theories about me, which only served to damage his own credibility. The process of building a relationship with my son was challenging but rewarding. He was understandably confused and cautious about having a new father figure in his life, especially given the circumstances of our meeting. We started with supervised visits and gradually built trust through shared activities and honest conversations about our unusual situation. His mother was incredibly gracious about the whole situation, considering how disruptive my sudden appearance must have been to their lives. She had been raising him as a single mother since her divorce and was managing her own emotional upheaval while trying to help him adjust to having a biological father. The financial responsibilities were significant but manageable. I began paying child support immediately and also contributed to his school expenses, medical bills, and other needs. I had to adjust my budget considerably, but I was determined to be a responsible father now that I knew about my son. My relationship with my girlfriend was tested by these developments, but she proved to be incredibly understanding and supportive. She had been doubting the rumors from the beginning and was relieved to learn the truth about the situation. She also showed remarkable maturity in accepting that I now had a child and the responsibilities that came with fatherhood. The most difficult aspect of the whole situation was dealing with my former best friend's continued hostility. He seemed unable to accept that his lies had been exposed and continued to spread new rumors about me. He claimed that I was only pretending to be a good father to rehabilitate my image and that I would abandon my son once the attention died down. These new accusations were easier to dismiss because they were clearly motivated by spite rather than any genuine concern for my son's welfare. Most of our mutual friends could see through his lies and were becoming increasingly uncomfortable with his behavior. Several people told me that they had ended their friendships with him because of his obsession with destroying my reputation. The situation reached a breaking point when he started contacting my son's school and trying to spread rumors about me there. The school officials were confused by his calls and contacted both me and my son's mother about the situation. This crossed a line from personal harassment to potentially affecting my child's well-being. I decided to pursue legal action at that point, not just for defamation but for harassment and potentially endangering my son's emotional health. The lawyer I consulted was optimistic about the case, given the clear pattern of malicious behavior and the documented lies my former friend had been spreading. The legal process was slow and stressful, but it had the desired effect of forcing my former friend to stop his harassment. His lawyer advised him to cease all contact with me and to stop spreading rumors or face serious legal consequences. The threat of a lawsuit seemed to finally make him realize that his behavior had consequences. Meanwhile, my relationship with my son continued to develop positively. He was a bright, curious kid who was adjusting well to having a father in his life. We discovered shared interests in sports and music, and he seemed to enjoy having a male role model to look up to. The bond between us grew stronger with each visit. The mother and I developed a co-parenting relationship that worked well for everyone involved. We communicated regularly about our son's needs and coordinated our schedules to ensure that he had consistent support from both parents. The situation was unusual, but we were all committed to making it work for his benefit. My social life gradually returned to normal as the truth about my situation became widely known. The friends who had believed the rumors apologized and welcomed me back into the group. The experience had taught me valuable lessons about the importance of surrounding myself with people who truly knew and trusted me. The relationship with my girlfriend deepened as we navigated the challenges of blended family life together. She became a positive influence in my son's life and helped me learn how to be a good father. Her patience and understanding during the difficult transition period strengthened our bond considerably. Looking back on the whole experience, I realized that my former best friend's malicious lies had inadvertently led to one of the best things that ever happened to me. If he hadn't spread the rumors, I might never have learned about my son's existence. The irony was that his attempts to destroy my life had actually enriched it in ways I never could have imagined. The paternity test results that I presented at his party became a symbol of triumph over deception and a testament to the power of truth over lies. The dramatic revelation had not only cleared my name, but had also demonstrated my commitment to taking responsibility for my actions and being a good father to my son. The legal case against my former friend was eventually settled out of court, with him agreeing to pay damages for defamation and to stay away from me and my family. The financial compensation was less important than the official acknowledgement that his behavior had been wrong and harmful. Today, my relationship with my son is one of the most important things in my life. He's now 10 years old and thriving academically and socially. We spend time together regularly, and he has become an integral part of my life and my relationship with my girlfriend. The unusual circumstances of our meeting have become just another part of our family story. The experience taught me that sometimes the most devastating betrayals can lead to unexpected blessings. My former friend's lies had caused me tremendous pain and stress, but they had also led me to discover that I was a father and to develop a relationship with my son that I treasure above all else. The whole situation also reinforced my belief in the importance of truth and integrity. While lies and rumors can cause temporary damage, the truth eventually emerges and prevails. The paternity test results were undeniable proof of my character and my commitment to being a responsible father. In the end, the man who had tried to destroy my reputation by calling me a deadbeat dad had actually helped me become a better father than I ever could have been without knowing about my son. The irony of the situation was not lost on me, and I sometimes wonder if he realizes how his malicious actions had backfired so completely. The experience changed my perspective on friendship and taught me to value loyalty and honesty above all else in my relationships. I now surround myself with people who have proven their trustworthiness and who support me through difficult times rather than trying to tear me down. My son often asks about the circumstances of how we met, and I tell him an age-appropriate version of the story that emphasizes how much I wanted to be his father once I learned about him. The full truth can wait until he's older, but the important thing is that he knows he is loved and wanted. The whole experience, from the initial betrayal to the final resolution, took about 2 years to fully resolve. It was a period of intense emotional upheaval that tested my resilience and forced me to grow in ways I never expected. But it also led to the most rewarding relationship of my life and taught me lessons about truth, loyalty, and responsibility that I will carry with me forever.